All right, guys. Before we move on, just to let you know, if you have certain watches that maybe you want to trade in, or perhaps you have a watch you've been looking for that you really want, but you're not sure how you can get it, we can actually help do it for you. Just fill in the details in the Google form in the comment section or the description. Either we'll already have what you want, or we will do everything we can to get it for you. So yeah, comment section and description. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week, or last week actually, we did a review on watches worn by Western leaders, including Putin. And today we're going to go to the Asian ones, and to our surprise, the Asian ones are way more impressive.
Way more impressive. Way more impressive.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll go straight into it, and we're gonna go by country leaders, and I have my list here. Yes. So let's start with
US.
Abe.
China.
Shinzo Abe.
Abe, right?
Of course, rest in peace, Mr. Shinzo Abe.
So sad.
But yeah, so I'm gonna guess he wears a Seiko.
No, he doesn't wear a Seiko. He doesn't wear a Citizen.
What?
Look, I mean, in the previous episode, we always thought that like the leaders in Germany should wear a German watch.
Should be, right?
The France minister should actually wear a French watch, right? I mean, the Japanese minister should actually at least wear a Seiko, right? Yeah. He actually don't. He actually wore a Japanese. He has a Japanese brand watch, but none of them is Seiko. It's not a Seiko. It's not a Citizen. It's a local brand start with M. But we know that actually he actually likes Rolex and Omega. Yes, so it's a Swiss watch itself. So look, I mean that.
What type of Rolex?
Not the president.
Okay.
I mean that, maybe it's a Datejust, and then it's a Omega as well. It's a vintage Omega. So he's considered as okay. Not so flashy, but seriously, I did fall off the chair a bit because I thought that it must be at least a Credo or a Seiko or a Citizen on his wrist, but none of this brand was seen on his wrist, right?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so put aside, I mean, a lot of leaders and a lot of people say they're patriotic to their own country, but when it comes to personal watch preference, look, man, none of them are wearing.
To be fair, not many people also pay attention. Right? When you watch when they give speeches or whatever, you don't, unless you're an expert like yourself, right? Then you can see.
Yeah, because those are not so obvious. But the few more that we're talking about later, I'm pretty sure you'll notice what type of watches they wear because it's way too obvious.
We will go from least juicy to most juicy.
Least juicy first.
So we'll go to
China,
President Xi Jinping.
Yeah, President Xi Jinping. So remember in the last episode, we say that actually Joe Biden owns he's the first US president who wore a Omega publicly.
Joe Biden,
Joe Biden, right. So again, the same era, which is President Xi right now, he actually wore a Omega as well. So he was a Globemaster. Globemaster, yeah. Relatively new model under series under Omega. It actually looks a bit like the Datejust. It's called Globemaster. And well, I thought he should be wearing a made in China watch.
Yeah.
Seagull or whatever, right? But yeah.
I think one very interesting thing about Chinese people is that there are a lot of, like, they will look at cars or anything that the West makes, they will be able to copy it, make it more efficient, make it cheaper, and generally they will outcompete these Western countries.
Look, I mean that, to be honest, the watch industry in China has evolved so much. To be honest, I mean that, like, the brand like Seagull, and there are some good brands in China. Let's talk about Tourbillon. Tourbillon is a very complicated, very high technology type of watch technology that has been created many years ago. So watch brands like Patek and also like VCs and also those high brands, you maximum you can see one Tourbillon inside, right? So there are some watch brands in the Swiss, they might have up to like 4 tourbillons. So that is like the pinnacle. 4 tourbillons in a watch is, the price is also like super crazy already, right? That one is the brand is currently now is in Pavilion KL. Let me recall the name. I just Suddenly I can't recall the name. But look,
you can never beat the
Chinese.
Yeah.
The Chinese can come up with a tourbillon with a price of a Rolex, with a price of a Seiko.
But you see, that's the interesting thing, right? One area that China has not just not dominated or compete, they can't even come close, are always these European brand names. Because the value of the thing is in the name itself.
Yes.
Right.
And also the detail of the tourbillon.
So yeah, even if you
Roger Dubois has a 4 tourbillon in
Yeah.
the watch.
So it's very hard for them to
Very
compete.
hard. It's very, very hard.
So that's President Xi. Let's talk a bit about his neighbor, Kim Jong Un. Now, guys, if you have a watch in mind that you want us to review that we haven't reviewed yet, just let us know in the comments, right? We'll definitely respond to that and get to you ASAP.
Right, Kim Jong Un, the little boy next to
Yeah.
his next to his house, he actually spotted wearing a Movado, which is
Movado,
also a Swiss watch. So to be honest, I'm quite surprised. A lot of people thought that he's like a dictator. Pretty sure that he wore something very flashy or look. It's just he wore a Swiss-made Movado in yellow. It's actually quite a unique watch. I actually quite like that watch.
Okay.
It's very low profile. Just Google it.
This is
Movado.
brand. I'm hearing this brand for the first time. Movado, Movado.
MOLVADO, Movado.
Movado. So, what are they going for? Because if you're is this a relatively newer brand?
No, it's
an old brand.
It is an old brand. Very, very famous. The one that he's wearing is a Movado Museum model.
Okay.
So it looks very low profile. I mean, it doesn't suit what he's showing.
Yeah.
So that's why you remember that in our first few episodes, I always say that a watch actually speaks about you. So when you wear what type of watches, people can actually roughly know what type of personality actually is deep inside your heart. It's like for example, why John Mayer in the musical producer and the singer in America is so famous, because by looking at his watch, you can roughly relate to the products or the production that he has. So for Kim Jong Un, to be honest, I'm expecting like a Jacob and Co. or something like a Hublot, something like very flashy. No, he's actually quite down to earth. Not too bad.
So you feel like that particular watch is signifying that this guy actually don't want to be that flashy.
Yeah, maybe deep inside him, he's not that flashy. But well, the few more juicy one, definitely they want the whole world to know that.
So next one, we'll come to
nearer to us,
Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
In fact, it's our neighbor.
Yeah.
Which is Sultan of Brunei.
Right.
Bolkiah.
Yeah.
This one, you have.
I mean, you know that once he was known as the richest man in the world.
Yes.
His birthday, he actually invited Michael Jackson, came and sing for him, right? I think you know about that, right? So he actually, most of his collections are Richard Mille. Okay. So he actually owns one of the most extensive Richard Mille in the whole world. Very flashy, very unique, very limited
very
type
expensive,
of pieces.
Probably.
Very, 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 very expensive. So Sultan of Brunei, he loves Richard Mille. He loves Patek Philippe, but he has more Richard Mille than Patek Philippe. So his collection, I can say that is very flashy.
How would you describe the Richard Mille brand? Because for me as a noob, right?
Yeah.
You tell me Richard Mille, you tell me Patek Philippe. Okay, I know they are like, they're up there, but how do they differentiate themselves?
So for Richard Mille is relatively younger compared to brands like Patek, compared to brands like VC, compared to brands like AP. They're relatively younger, but Richard Mille actually, when they first came out, they positioned themselves as the ultra rich watch. So only the ultra rich will buy them. There is no such thing as, can I get the cheapest Richard Mille? There's no such thing.
You ask that question, sure way they are still to go up.
Yeah, because maybe the cheapest in a grey market is also about 800,000 kind of. Yeah. So I think it's a statement that Bolkiah is trying to tell the whole world that, look, I mean, this is my...
You're not my level.
Yeah, not the rest. Yeah, not my level. And look, I mean that there's no presidential election in Brunei. You can wear whatever you like.
Yeah.
Just to make yourself happy and tell the world that, look, so this is my standard, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's okay because he owns Brunei and there's no elections, there's no nothing, right? So, okay, he can do that.
But you wouldn't say like a Patek Philippe is not for ultra rich? I always thought Patek Philippe
is for the ultra rich, but it comes with more heritage. People who love history, people who love heritage, people who love the workmanship, they will go for Patek. But maybe people might think that Patek is a bit old school, whereas Richard Mille
is a bit like Lamborghini and maybe Rolls Royce. So Patek maybe is a Rolls Royce.
Yes.
Richard Mille is a Lamborghini.
It's a Lamborghini.
Yeah, Lamborghini is young. It's a younger,
flashy,
but rich.
Rich kind of stuff. Yes.
Whereas old wealth, new wealth.
Yeah. So that's for Brunei.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next one is Cambodia, right?
Oh,
Hun Sen.
Hun Sen.
This one shocked you a bit, right?
This one seriously, I think Hun Sen. I think that it didn't shock me because look, all of us know that who he is and who is still controlling Cambodia until today is his family. He has extensive watch collections of Patek, Richard Mille, and I can say that his level and the Sultan of Brunei
same
can be quite on par. Because Hun Sen's Patek Philippe is quite scary. His collection is quite scary.
Really?
Yeah. So look, for a small country like Cambodia, are they considered as third world or developing?
Let's use the word developing. Yeah,
developing, right? And the leader itself can have this type of collection compared to the number one.
It's always between these two videos, the one that we did previously and today, right? You see the next one, right? Yeah. The richer the country, the more affordable the watch.
Yeah, people wear Timex, people just wear some Seiko, normal watch. But all these ASEAN countries leaders, man.
But most.
Most.
But the next one is the richest country probably in ASEAN, which is Singapore.
Yeah.
And Hsien Loong.
Yeah, Hsien Loong was spotted wearing a Seiko a few times.
Oh, do you remember the brand?
Seiko 5. It's not only Seiko, it's a Seiko 5. So which means that it's the most entry level of a Seiko. Automatic Seiko 5. So
how much is it? A few hundred ringgit?
Yeah, maybe like definitely less than 1,000 ringgit.
Wow.
Yeah, so same like Li Ka-shing. Li Ka-shing actually wore a Citizen. It's also a few hundred.
Also, Li Ka-shing is not known to be a flashy guy.
No, he's not known to be a flashy guy. He was a Citizen.
Wow.
Yeah. So so you see how when the higher, the more powerful you are, the more low profile you are. It's like Kim Jong Un, very high profile, very flashy, Movado kind of stuff. Yeah.
So if you are enjoying the video so far, always remember to support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Click on the notification bell so whenever new videos pop, you'll know it right away. So as promised, guys, we structured this video in a way where the juiciest come right at the end. So we are all Malaysians. So how can we leave Malaysians out?
Yeah.
But we will not pinpoint specific individuals. Because we happen to live in the same country as them.
I mean, to be honest, as a Malaysian, I'm so proud that our world leaders, their class and their standard is quite on par with Hun Sen and Sultan of Brunei.
Really, yeah? So again, again, we will not name names, but you pretty much know who we're talking
just
about.
Google it.
Just Google it. What are the trends, the brands that you see for our Malaysian leaders?
I think it's quite clear. There's only one brand, which is Richard Mille.
Really?
All the ministers. Richard Mille standard, at least. That is... or some of them, I did saw one with... Jacob and Co.
Okay.
So very flashy. It's not the normal flashy. It's very flashy. Seriously.
Yeah.
So imagine, right? I mean that I've forgotten to talk about Africans, right? Most of the high-profile generals in Africa is even flashier than us, right? So it's very funny, right? So the poorer the country, but the richer the leaders.
So no Rolex inside for Malaysian leaders.
Hardly.
It's too.
Hardly, yeah. So Rolex is too low. It's too low for them, right? So
Richard Mille. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think my big takeaway really is, the more developing the country, the better the watch for the leaders. Or there is at least the more expensive one.
Yeah. So
before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add?
Look,
like your conclusions, because you did quite some extensive research on this, right?
Correct.
And you discovered many new things. Anything else you want to add?
I mean that for watch collectors like us, I mean that price point itself it doesn't determine anything or everything. So if you're a real watch connoisseur, I mean that you shouldn't be affected by the price of the watch itself. You shouldn't be affected by the brand itself. So look, I mean that buy something that you like, and then even though you are a US president, you can only wear like Bush, he wears a Timex, right? So even though you are some leader in some developing countries, it doesn't tell that when you wear a super expensive watch, you are better than another leader. So for all the audience in front of our podcast, look, just buy something that you like, you can afford. It actually tells something about you. That is the best, right? There's no point that, look, I mean that I won't wear my Richard Mille unless there is a Richard Mille event, or there's an event that I have no choice that I have to flex.
Because it's not really you.
It's not really me, right? I mean that you have seen me in the past few episodes. I mean that myself and Jensen, both of us love vintage watches, because those are the watches that I'm actually wearing a history.
Also,
and also a very good conversation starter.
Yeah,
right. But yes, I love Patek. Patek is my favorite brand, followed by Rolex, because of not only of the design and also of their rich heritage. Rolex particularly a bit more on their value. So that is the reason why I like this brand.
To conclude, there's really nothing wrong with getting a Richard Mille, or nothing really wrong getting a Seiko, Casio, whatever. The key thing is you buy a watch that represents you.
I mean, if you think that you like a Richard Mille, or you aim for a Richard Mille, it's either you work hard for it, or you go for a political election.
Okay. Alright, we need to stop the video.
Alright.
Alright, guys, thanks for staying all the way until the end. We do all these videos, and thanks for all the support, right? Remember to click subscribe, like, comment, the usual stuff, and really looking forward to seeing you in the next video, and hopefully Jensen will be back for the next video.
Yep.
Hey, guys,
cool.
Signing out. Bye bye.
Bye.